You flash in and out of the reality of the happening when you make a pit stop and change drivers and get out of the car and look across, and there's a terrific sea of people, and then you come back in at midnight and you look across and there's nobody there. They've all gone out in the forest to do whatever French people do and then you say, my gosh, they've gotten bored and gone home. So you go to sleep and you get up and you come back out at 5 o'clock in the morning and the sun's coming up and they're all back. And what have they been doing? Probably having a lot more fun than I have. But I think that those are the only times that you sort of flash back into the real sort of emotional experience of the race.
Off the side of the road here, and it looks terminal. We know. He's out of the race with mechanical problems. It's up to you and Doc.
Late in the race, we came in for an unexpected stop. I knew at that point that we had about a 10-lap lead over the second-place car, which was the Chevy Camaro of Gene Felton. And I know Gene's quite a good driver, and the car was well prepared, and it seemed to run like a train the whole time, and they were a real threat to us. I kept thinking, well, it's a car that historically hasn't done well here, so eventually I'll see him come down the pit lane instead of by on the track, and he'll stop and they'll make some major repairs, and it just didn't happen.
This has got to be the most frustrating part of the Le Mans race. Here I sit in the damn pit lane. Gene's out there clicking off the laps. We've run good all day. We got a terrific position in the class, but now the car's tired, I'm tired, the crew's tired. They're working their hearts out trying to get me back out there. All I can hope is that they get it repaired in time. I get back out and retain the lead.
There's no question about a pace that you fall into late in the race that's totally different from anything that you might experience in the front of the race. I can remember thinking to myself, how many times do all those little teeth on all those little gears in the transmission have to get stopped when you engage a synchro mesh? And coming down that into Mulsanne and thinking, okay, I've got 2 downshifts here, shall I make them both? Or shall I skip a gear and save that synchro mesh? I mean, you start thinking as if you were part of the machine rather than operating the machine. You start imagining that your hand is an extension of the transmission, and every time you move the stick, you have a terrific amount of sympathy for the machine itself. I think I must have counted every single shift that I did for the last 2 or 3 hours of the race.
To add frustration to frustration, here we are with a 5-lap lead. We've now lost 5th gear. Gene's going to be going back out. He's running like a freight train down the straight. We will now give up all of our straightaway speed because of our loss of 5th gear. The best we can do is keep a steady pace going, hope that Gene makes a few mistakes, and I know this one's going to go right down to the wire.
There's no lonelier place than the driver's seat during the race, particularly the last hours. Increasing loneliness is the fact that at the end of the, say, the 22nd hour, your batteries and your radio are pretty much shot, and the only touch that you have with anybody that can feed you any information is maybe for 100 yards down the pit straight.
Doc, I can't hear it. I cannot read you way in the back of the track.
10-4.
Well, here we are. winding down the last few laps, and I never ever in my wildest dreams would have thought that we would have been able to finish, let alone win this race, on only 5 tires.
The enthusiasm runs in waves. It's very, very high in the beginning. It wanes about darkness, which is, oh gosh, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock here in France. And then pretty soon, gee, the race is still going on. They start to march back in. They fill the trees and the stands, and they start getting closer and closer and closer to the safety wall on the pit straight. And the second they see the leading cars cross the finish line beginning the last lap, they go over the wall. And there would be no possibility of finishing that last lap prior to 4 o'clock because the track is absolutely jammed with people. It must be very much like the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. They kind of hope that the cars will come around, but the officials have been smart enough to stop the lap just prior to its finish and put everybody in the impound area. So they aren't really in any danger, but I think they'd like to be. I think you, at that point, join the crowds, and if they want a little piece of you, I suppose you're willing to fight it out with them, because I don't think that by my nature I'm a whole lot different than the people that came here to watch the race. Otherwise, if I didn't enjoy getting beat up just a little bit, I probably wouldn't have been here in the first place.